Hochul, who through the Empire State Development, and she's represented today by the Governor's Western New York Director, Joan Kessner, for continuing to champion the vision and the accessibility of our projects like these in our local waterfront. I also want to thank County Executive Poloncarz for the county's unwavering support of the Blueway vision and this project, as well as several others that we have in the works in partnership with the county moving forward. We'll talk about that in a moment. I also want to thank the County Parks Commissioner, Troy Schinzel, and Mark Cornell, I think Mark's over there, and their team for working tirelessly with our team for the last couple of years to make this project happen. We have hopefully some members of the community who are here as well. Thank those who are continuing to support the restoration of this river and the accessibility for everyone, especially the newly formed Friends of Red Jacket Park, which is building off of the stewardship, the sense of stewardship and community ownership of these parks and maintaining them moving forward in partnership with the county. Also want to thank our consultant teams from Scott Lawnyard and Wendell who helped make this project happen. These are the folks that actually put the designs on the paper and the shovels in the ground to make it happen. And then also to the Waterkeeper team. These are the folks who ground these visionary ideas and actually work their hearts out to make them reality. So Catherine Winkler here is our project manager, unsung hero of the Buffalo Blueway, who is making these projects come to life. But also there's the ongoing coordination and the outreach, the administration that goes into these projects. So members of our team like Jean, Charlie, Jen, Jess, Margot, Kelly, wherever you all are, these are the folks that do whatever needs to be done, but without much public fanfare or gratitude, except for in this moment, so we thank you. So this is our Blue Economy vision coming to life. Every month there's another edition. Every year there's more excitement happening in our waterfront. So for generations, our community really avoided its own waterfront. We had polluted water, polluted lands, and we had physical barriers like industrial sites and highways. Residents from the Valley, the First Ward, Seneca Babcock, Perry, Kaisertown, the East Side, South Buffalo, all of them had been denied access to their waterways for generations. But through the hard work of groups like Waterkeeper and partnership with the county and the state, these times are changing. Behind us here is the Buffalo River. It is known as a federal area of concern. It is one of the worst designations you can have in the Great Lakes. It means it was one of the most polluted, toxic hotspots. That's a list you don't want to be on. But for over 30 years, this community has rallied and worked to restore this river. $100 million later, and now we're talking about creating public access to a waterway that nobody wanted to come in contact with. Through the Remedial Action Plan and through the collaboration and through the sheer willpower of folks here in Western New York, we are on a trajectory and on target to be delisted from that area of concern list by 2025. So it's very exciting. However, the industrial hangover in our region still remains for many segments of our community. And it is our mission to identify ways to better access and better connect people to our waterways. We truly believe in equitable access for everyone along our rivers, lakes, and green spaces. So here in the Blueway, the conceptual planning for the Buffalo Blueway began in earnest in about 2016. We knew the vision of this water trail system was the logical next step of connecting people to a river that was recovering. And we always envisioned universally accessibility wherever possible. Without access, we lose those personal connections. And without personal connections, it becomes very difficult to steward and protect our freshwater resources for future generations. We all know that water is neither red nor blue. It's either accessible or it's not. We know that in nature that life thrives where water meets the land. But this is also true for people in society. Thriving waterfront communities need safe and equitable water connections to reach their fullest potential. The Buffalo Blueway has been a long-term vision for Waterkeeper, connecting the blue to the green, creating universal access, breaking down social and physical barriers, uniting the diverse segments of our community, and supporting local businesses. Access also means different things to different people. This vision seeks to create for all people of all mobilities, economic, social, and cultural backgrounds. It will incentivize waterfront tourism and both promote ecological and outdoor recreation. Activities range from paddle sports to fishing to wildlife viewing, walking, or even simply sitting on a bench connecting with friends in nature overlooking this beautiful river. And what started as informal conversations with various interested parties resulted in a $10 million commitment from New York State in this vision. And through the collaboration with Empire State Development, those funds are being leveraged and multiplied by additional resources. And for example, the partnership here with Erie County. This project would not happen without them and their commitment. The Buffalo Blueway is growing and expanding very quickly. To date, Waterkeeper and our partners have completed numerous Blueway projects on the Buffalo waterfront, including enhancements at Buffalo Riverworks, Wilkeson Point, and Mutual Riverfront Park. The site enhancements include a massive public art mural at Buffalo Riverworks, along with Blueway-specific metal markers and interpretive signage, safety signage, as well as an interactive Buffalo Blueway website with maps, information, and a trip planner. And for an insider's look and to learn more about how to access the Blueway, you can check out our Blue View video segments available on the buffaloblueway.com website to learn more about each of the sites and the projects that are underway. Just 10 months ago, we gathered to celebrate the grand opening of Ohio Street boat launch, and that was a $2 million project. But today, we celebrate the latest addition to the Blueway water trail system with this project here at Red Jacket Park, which is a $525,000 project. None of this would have happened without the close coordination with Erie County. Some of the assets that you'll see here today and we'll talk about include an enhanced paddle sport launch and an area with a terraced concrete access point. You all see the improved parking here. That's how you arrived here today. So we've upgraded parking lot to allow for better flow in and out of the parking area. We have new ADA accessible walkways and concrete walkways connecting the Buffalo River and replacing all the dangerous and outdated asphalt paths. We have new benches throughout the site to allow users for all physical abilities to enjoy the site. And most importantly, we have this new overlook designed with ample seating for sweeping views of the Buffalo River, which in my opinion is probably one of the most beautiful, quiet places in the Buffalo River area. So it has been our pleasure to work with the hardworking and dedicated staff at Erie County Parks, DEP, and I would like to introduce County Executive Mark Poloncarz.
Thank you. Thank you, Jill. Thank you all for gathering here today at this rededication and reopening of Red Jacket Riverfront Habitat Natural Park. The county has had this park for more than 2 decades and has unfortunately seen it in its good days and its bad days, and today it's truthfully as beautiful as it ever has because of the work of so many. So on behalf of the people of Erie County, I want to thank Buffalo Niagara Waterkeeper for your continued commitment to the Blueway project in our region. We are very, very appreciative of the work that you've done to ensure that not only this park but others have greater access to the public, have greater access to sporting activities. While we used to see a lot of people that would come here to kayak or canoe, they didn't have the nice terraced kayak launch as you do have now. This is just another example of how we can work together to create a better, stronger community for all. I do want to note and need to thank Congressman Brian Higgins for his continued stewardship to ensure that this Buffalo River is clean. Nobody's going to want to put a kayak in the water if it was as bad as it was like it used to be 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. But as Jill noted, very soon the Buffalo River will be delisted, and that will be a huge victory for our region. A huge victory, because it wasn't that long ago. It was not, if you went out there and tried to find wildlife, fish in the water, you didn't necessarily like what you saw. And it's an example of how our government can sometimes come in and help clean up from the past mistakes that were done by ensuring that this water is clean so that people can come down to Red Jacket Park to enjoy the beautiful scenery, to launch a kayak, to fish, and actually see that you're only just about 1.5 miles, 2 miles from downtown Buffalo. And most people don't even realize this exists, so we're hopeful that more people will come to take advantage of it. I certainly want to thank our great team at the Erie County Parks Department, led by Commissioner Schinzel, Deputy Commissioner Cornell, for their continued stewardship at this facility. This is just one of many facilities that we have that are in the city of Buffalo and along the waterfront, starting all the way up at Isleview Park in Tonawanda and continuing through Black Rock Canal Park, Towpath Park, and further down, of course, Seneca Bluffs and Thomas Higgins Park. We want people to come to these locations. This is a passive park. This is not somewhere where you're going to find swing sets and things like that, but you're going to be able to find access to the water, sit back and listen to the birds, and just enjoy the beautiful scenery. So thank you to the Parks Department for their great work in ensuring that this park and the others along the water are continue to be accessible to all. And I also need to give a shout out to our Department of Environment and Planning for the work that they've done to help ensure that this project moves forward, as well as our partners with Wendell and of course Scott Lawn Yard Care for the great work that they did in coming up with the design and the implementation of this facility. And of course a big thank you to Governor Kathy Hochul and her team for their investment of millions of dollars along our waterfront. We are, in some ways, as I said, cleaning up the past mistakes of what happened in the Buffalo River watershed, which was major industry, the dumping of chemicals, everything you can imagine. That is what built Buffalo. But when we talk about a blue economy, and we've been talking about it for 10 years, you can't have a blue economy if you continue to facilities that are... We got new friends. We have habitat, as you will see. You can't have a blue economy if you have facilities that are degraded, if you have a waterfront that people don't want to use because of the condition of the water. And I want to specifically thank Governor Hochul and her team for the great work that they've done to ensure that this money keeps flowing, that we keep on investing in our waterfront so that each and every one of us can enjoy these natural resources that for decades we could not enjoy. And it is just great to see these come back into the public domain, so to speak, so that we all have an opportunity to enjoy this great, wonderful community that we have, this great waterfront. I have lots of colleagues across the United States, and they wish they had the water and the waterfront that we have. This is going to be one of the things that ensures that Buffalo and Erie County continues to grow and continues to be a hub for our nation. And by this investment and continuing these types of investment, we're not only taking care of the problems of the past, we're ensuring it's wonderful for the present, but it's going to continue the legacy that we have so that in the future, when people come to this park and come to this region, they're going to say people invested in this community because they cared, and as a result of it, we will be better for that. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce the regional head for Empire State Development, and in some ways, Governor Hochul's right hand, our good friend Joan Kesner.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Governor Kathy Hochul, I would like to welcome everybody to this uncovered jewel again in our beautiful city. Did anybody know this exists before? Yeah, so I mean, this is beautiful. I can't wait to...
That's why we're here.
Yeah, I can't wait till we get out and I can kayak. I talked about this, but this is an example of what happens when all levels of government works together and the community groups are sitting at the table with us. This makes it happen. The governor invested $500,000 in this project, and Jill and her group knew how to spend it. And then we're very, very blessed to have the Empire State Development Agency. We have Lori here that works on our projects for her, and they never give up on the creative ways and projects for our waterfront. The governor is a big champion of developing our waterfront. She lives on the waterfront, she kayaks, she bikes. This is her home, and this is the beginning of more things to come from her office to develop our waterfront. These connections are great for people to come here, but it also enhances the economy as well as the enjoyment. And I want to thank everybody that was involved in this project. Again, it doesn't happen alone, it happens as a partnership. And thank you for inviting us. Thank you. All right.
All right, and before we take questions, just a reminder as well that we have 2 other projects along the Buffalo River that are actually in progress. The project at Seneca Bluffs is currently in design, and we hope to go to construction to that this fall. And we just released Catherine, last week, was it, the RFP for the Thomas F. Higgins Natural Habitat Park on Bailey Avenue. So we're celebrating today, but we go back to the office and work hard to make those other 2 sites happen before the end of the summer and the end of the fall. So we're excited. Thank you, everybody, and we'll take questions now.
You said this, I've driven past, I've seen the sign at the street there, but I've never been back there. What is it like to see it all fixed up?
Well, how about if I let the county executive take that one?
The park was here, and what you see is sort of what was here, but by investing in it, it made it so much better. And unfortunately, there had been a lot of vandalism here. So many of the benches and some of the railings had been destroyed. As we know, unfortunately, too many people in our region like to drive their cars through the fronts of Tim Horton donut shops and the like, and they did the same to here, to park benches and railings, and just by basically having these large boulders now will help protect the other areas that unfortunately were damaged because of the carelessness of individuals. So it's just great to see it in a new renovated state. For those who know about this park, it is a hidden gem. There's a lot of folks who come here for the first time, like you said, wow, I didn't know this existed. And when they come here, they also find out there's wonderful walking trails in which you can walk along the river. You can go to other areas in this region. It's just an example of sometimes just bringing out to the public what we knew was here, but making it so much nicer so when they do come, they have this incredible view and vision of what our region can be. So it's a lot better. Then you can catch the trains too. So if you're an aficionado of trains, you can view the train going over the lift bridge, which is a rarity for this region, but you can see that as well.
How do you, I guess, ensure that this place stays the way it is today if it doesn't get vandalized?
Well, anytime you have a park that's opened and can be accessed by the public 24 hours a day, you're always going to fear a little bit of vandalism. The one nice thing is the design elements that were put in ensure that a lot of the things in the past that could have been vandalized or damaged are protected, first off by the large boulders, but then I know, and I'll leave it up to the Parks Commissioner or Jill to talk a little bit about it, the benches that were put in and so forth. They were put in to ensure that they could be enjoyed by all, they were accessible to all, but they're also the type of materials that are not easily vandalized. So I'll turn it over to them.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, I think Mark said it right. The design, I think it was, we talk about partnerships, and what excited me most about this project was getting involved with Jill and Catherine from the get and talking about designs and concepts and what makes sense for this location. And you'll look around, you'll see that design will bear out, I think, something that'll last a long time. I think also the fact that over the last 2 to 3 years, we've seen an increase of 20% in our full-time staff in the Parks Department. So we have more dedicated staff to take care of our beautiful areas like this, Red Jacket, Seneca Bluffs. So I think that's important as well. So just it's the partnerships that we formed, the conversations in advance, I think will ensure just the longevity of this park.
And if I could just add the key component to this, to all these sites, working to restore this river over the last 20 years, all the habitat, the parks, and so forth, it takes everybody, but it also takes members of the community. This is where individuals can take personal responsibility, and the fact that we have a lot of friends groups that are forming and volunteer groups where ordinary people are the eyes and ears of this river and these sites, and we rely heavily on that in terms of building stewardship and collaboration with the community, with our government entities and nonprofits. Sure. Well, the river restoration itself was over 30 years in the making. The bulk of the remediation that happened was over 1 million cubic yards of contaminated sediment was removed over a 5-year period. In addition, for that $100 million effort between the county, EPA, Army Corps, Waterkeeper, we have 17 habitat restoration sites up and down this river that was restored in complement to that. The river now is no longer considered toxic. We still do have sewer overflow problems occasionally. On days of heavy rain, we still will have bacteria problems, but that problem is being addressed right now by the Buffalo Sewer Authority, and in the next 5 to 8 years, hopefully all those overflows will be minimized, and we won't have to worry about that anymore as well. JEDLICKA. Jill, first name. Yeah. JILL.
Alrighty, we'll do the
Anything
ribbon
else?
cutting.
We're going to do a ribbon cutting, and there we go.
Let's just move this podium.
Ruin your
Troy, why
podium.
don't we just move this over here?
Just look
I'll
at
make
the
sure it's
man does
connected.
everything.
I know, right?
Yeah, we're good.
Sure.
I got you.
Who wants the big scissors? There you go.
Do the duck.
I know, right?
So, are you all ready? Sure. Countdown. Sorry, Peter. 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh. See, it just adds the anticipation of opening the park. There we go. Yes. One more.